It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. No, it's not. It's in the 80s. Well, 70s, but still. The holidays are upon us. We have new releases coming from Natasha Denona and inevitably Pat McGrath, and Givenchy has put photos up, and YSL and Gucci will hopefully, Prada will hopefully, other than hand cream. So, yeah, we're here today to look at the new Golden Oasis palette from YSL. This palette is not available in the United States yet, but it is a face palette, a first from YSL, perhaps trying to jump on the Hourglass train a little bit as those are coming out, or they have come out, they'll be delivering soon. But this is a palette that features three blushes and three highlighters. And having swatched it, I don't think you could use the darkest one as a bronzer, but it's a little too shiny. But you could use any of these as an eyeshadow. So also coming out this holiday is the Golden Lust palette, which I have done a video on before, but I thought we'd try a different look with this today. But really spend our time focused on this beauty. So this is quite substantial. You get 0.95 ounces or 27 grams of product here, made in Italy, 24-month shelf life. But yeah, you get three beautiful blushes and three highlighters, or in my case, eyeshadow for that bottom one. The one thing I will say that's a little disappointing about this is that the three blushes are already in the YSL collection. So if you have a lot of YSL blushes, like I do, you will already have these. Now, obviously, this is easier to travel with, but it's just something to think about if you already have them. I wish they would have maybe done something a little bit different, but they have so many blushes, so it makes sense. And look, at the end of the day, this is such a nice gift for somebody who maybe doesn't have a lot of YSL or somebody who travels a lot. So let's begin. I don't have all YSL stuff. I'm going to throw in some favorites here or there, but whenever possible, I'll use YSL to match our new project, our new product. So I'm going to start by doing my brows. I have the Victoria Beckham Baby Brow. Now, one of my wonderful followers on my Louis Vuitton La Bouteille video said that my lighting was too dark on this side. So I've got another ring light here. So if you think this looks better, please let me know, because I'm always trying to get, things to look better and more professional. I mean, obviously this is not my full-time job. So I don't get a lot of, promotional products. There's very few companies that actually send them to me. I wish more did. It'd be very nice. Pat, Natasha, YSL. So I buy my own equipment, I buy my own product. So hopefully this looks better and I look more well lit. So we've got the brows on. And so I'm going to start with a primer. And YSL has a classic, fantastic primer, which is the Touche Eclat Blur Primer. And I don't know if you've noticed, but YSL has a glowy foundation that's coming out. It's already in Europe. I was quite excited about it. And then I saw Charlotte Holdcroft say it didn't really work for her. And typically, not always, but typically, we kind of line up. So I'm a little, skeptical about it, but I'll get it when it comes to the United States. Foundation is one of the products that if I try to get from like Selfridges or something like that, the import taxes are crazy on. So weird how that works. But anyway, as you can see, it's just a nice luxury primer. Makes a really nice canvas. So let's go ahead and put an eyeshadow primer on, and I'm going to use the Rare Beauty one, my favorite. So I got to tell you, the response, let me grab a little brush for that. The response to the Louis Vuitton La Beauté video and my Instagram, which again, if you don't follow, please do. It's unsolicited_Eyevice, unsolicited Eyevice on Instagram and YouTube. But the response is kind of hilarious to that product launch, of which I really like. I really like the product. I want to get more refills. Obviously, I can't afford to buy the components every time, but the refills are pretty reasonable, but luxury-wise. But I just think it's hilarious, some of the comments that I've got, including this one epic one that I read on my page, if you follow me. So it's just been kind of a shock to see people's responses to this. So this is the new Golden Lust palette. They tend to come out with some sort of gold. There was golden lace last year. There was a gold that had more like silver and metallic in it the year before. This is Golden Lust, which is a golden palette. They love a golden palette at YSL. But it does have this topper, which has a little bit of pink and purple in it. And so I'm going to try something a little different today and see if we can get an interesting look. This should be coming to the United States anytime now. So let me zoom you in. Come a little closer, Clarice. No, that's not what I want, motherfucker. Okay. Ooh, girl. Nope, simmer down. Simmer down. There we go. Nobody wants to be that close. So let's start over here. There's this mid-tone brown up here, which is just kind of a matte, maybe a little bit more satin than matte. But I'm just going to define my crease with that. The YSL eyeshadow quads, I guess they started about 2 years ago with this rebrand that everything kind of follows now at YSL with the padded tops and they kind of look like leather. These have been so successful, and they've probably got, if you count the special editions and the international ones that haven't launched here yet, there's probably like 15 or 18 of them now. I should do a comparison video. Maybe I'll do that when I'm done here today. Just kind of comparing and swatching. You know, the problem with swatching live like this is that as a guy, I have all this hair here, so it never looks as beautiful as like an Alicia Archer or something like that. On the bottom here, we have this bronzy color, and this is a satin. If the first one was a matte with a little bit of sheen to it, this one's got a good amount of sheen. No glitters though. As you see, I had a little fallout, so I should have... Ooh! YSL shadows are beautiful. They are powdery and soft, but they're easy to blend, and I think they're very popular. And I'm going to do like a halo eye here. The one thing about this palette that I wish it had a little bit more of was depth. This is the darkest shade in the palette. Now today it doesn't necessarily matter because I'm going to do something a little different today and mix some YSL products that you wouldn't think would necessarily go together. Now, over here, I'm going to do the same thing, do a halo, outer third, inner third with this darkest brown color. Now, if I really wanted to intensify this, I could definitely, use a wet brush or something, but I don't necessarily mind it being light today because it'll go with what I plan on doing. I'm just going to carry that over a little bit. Easy peasy. You know what? While we're here, let's go ahead and run some of this along the bottom here. Just a little bit. I haven't done my concealer yet, so I'm going to keep it pretty close to the line there. Okay. Easy peasy. Okay, there's two metallics in here. One is kind of a high shine metallic, which is this goldy, bronzy kind of color. And then up here we have this topper shade, which could be used inner corner, under the brow, as a highlight. But it's got like little pink and purple kind of neon sparkles in it. I don't know that you can necessarily see it on here, but let me see if I can get it to show up. Yeah, that's not really going to do anything. See? It's very light, but it's got super fine, hot pink sparkles in it, which is kind of cool. Okay, I'm going to grab my Refer 21 and this kind of bronzy color that's on the bottom. And I'm trying to keep this look a little softer, so I'm not doing any kind of like intensify wand or anything. But if you wanted something for more depth for, you know, evening, you could definitely do that. But again, this is probably not the palette you want if you want a lot of depth, because this is about as dark as it gets. I think they probably do that and do these every holiday season like this because they know that they may be gifted. They often will do these as part of a set with like a lip product or something like that. And so they probably want to keep it very neutral. At least the last couple of holidays have looked like that. I'm going to go in with my pinky and just grab a little bit more, just for a little bit of shine. Nothing crazy. Okay. I mean, it's very pretty. YSL shadows are very, very pretty. Okay. So we have this like pinky color. But before we go ahead and put that on, I'm going to go ahead and do my under eye. And so for that, I have the YSL All Hours concealer. They have two concealers. They have the Touche Eclat, which is more of a brightening concealer. They used to have this in a concealer that was high coverage. I remember Patty Alonso used to rave about that. But now they pretty much done away with that, and they only have this one, which is like a brightening pen. They have these ridiculous videos online of like Zoe Kravitz at a gala or something, and she's got this in her back pocket, and she's like, I just need a little brightening, and she just clicks and brightens up. And nobody would do that, but this is it's a great product. This is their concealer. I find that their concealer and their foundation, and I'm glad they're coming out with that new one, but I find these to be a little matte for my liking. But you know, for today, it's actually a good canvas to put that face palette on. So let me grab the concealer. Just going on, it feels a little bit drier and a little more powdery than traditional concealers that I really like the Gucci one or the Chanel Sublimage, something like that. Like this feels matte. There's very little shine there. Okay. I'm going to go in and just blend that out a little bit. It's not a bad product. I like it. It's long wearing. It's just, if you're used to wanting a little bit more glow, this can be a little bit tricky. But I'll show you what I do. That's what she said. Oh, that doesn't really make sense. That's what she said. Well, fuck it. What I do to brighten it up is I actually then take the Touche Eclat, and it's one of those clicker pens like Victoria Beckham. This is probably the one that started it all. And I put a little of that, especially right here on the inner corner. And that does add some brightness. And I'll link everything below so you know what colors I use if you're somewhat of a similar skin tone. I'm kind of a 2.5 in like Dior, a B30 in Chanel, 2 in Givenchy, 2.5, you know. So kind of a neutral light to light medium. Okay, so now that that's on, let's go ahead and finish the look. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this pinky sparkly color, and I'm just going to place that in the center of the lid and take it all the way up to the brow pretty much, just pretty high. You can do that with these lighter colors, and it actually looks nice when you do that. Like not all the way up, but pretty damn close. So can we talk a little bit about the new Natasha Denona palettes that leaked yesterday? They're two neutral palettes. One is kind of an evening, glamorous, darker palette, and then one is very soft. And the soft one has very few actual metallics in it. And they kind of remind me of the nude palettes that Mario puts out. Speaking of, I wonder if we're going to get a new Ethereal Eyes from him this Christmas. I hope. Anyway, I kind of miss the days of Natasha doing color. The last really colorful palette, well, we got the purple palette last Christmas. The year before we got Xenon. We had Yucca. I know we had Bloom this spring, but I don't know that many people that Bloom was like their favorite Natasha Denona palette. I kind of miss the color stories from her, you know, like retro glam, when they weren't so tight in their color and they gave you a lot more variety. But I guess this is what's selling right now. I don't really know. Put some of that under the brow. It's a really pretty color. You can't really see it on camera, but it does have beautiful sparkles that I bet when the photos, when I put up at the end of the video, I bet they'll show up. Okay, I like that. So I'm going to do something a little nutty with this, and I'm going to grab a YSL liner, and I'm going to grab it in the color, these are called Lines Liberated. This is number 7. It's the navy blue, because I think I want to know what blue and goldy brown looks together. So this could be batshit nuts. If it is, I'm sorry, but it's my eye, not yours. Okay. I love to take a very neutral eye look that's like browns or golds, taupes, things like that, and then add an interesting liner and interesting mascara to it. Now, obviously, you could use a brown liner, Victoria Beckham, YSL, Valentino, Pat McGrath, Black Coffee, and get a more, you know, traditional look. On the back of this has this little brush. I never quite know what these are for. I always think that like the tabs that are on the back of Victoria Beckham's make more sense to me, but I guess it makes sense. That just adds a little bit of blue to this look, which I think is kind of cool. It's one of my favorite things to do, is just add a pop of color in the waterline or in the lashes with a very basic kind of color story on the lid. I'm going to go ahead and grab my Refer eyelash curler. My knee, if you follow me, you know I was in an accident at the airport coming back from New York, and my knee is doing a lot better, for those of you who have asked, so I thank you for that. Okay, YSL makes one of my favorite mascaras, the Lash Clash, and this one is in the blue. They also have a new green. Green would have been really good for this for holidays. So if you have the YSL green liner or any kind of forest green liner, and you grab the new YSL Lash Clash that's in green, that would look beautiful for this for the holidays. But I'm going to do the blue. I think it's interesting. If this is too blue for you, one thing I like to do sometimes is to get the black one and put it on first, and then just do the very tippy tips with the blue. But I like this. I think it adds kind of a neat look and keeps this from being otherwise what it is, which is a very neutral palette. Like I said, I think these are designed as gifts. They're really leaning into the gold. Although, I feel like YSL leans into the gold every holiday season. It must be just a big seller for them. And you notice this isn't like overly shiny like some of the gold that are in their permanent collection. So I think that probably is the goal for it. But I like it. I think it looks really nice. Okay, if I do say so myself. So now we need a foundation. Like I said, they have a new one coming out, but the one that they currently have out is their matte foundation. I am not a matte foundation person, but we are going to make it work. And I actually think it'll be nice because that way we can see what the blushes and everything look like on a matte base. So I'm going to go ahead and put some of the matte on here. And mine is in the shade Light Neutral 8, which is perhaps a tad light, but it works out really well once I do everything else. So I'm going to grab some of that on my Rephr LC03. I wonder what Rephr is going to come out with for the holidays. Speaking of, can I get on their PR list? Because I probably have, I don't know, $700 worth of Rephr brushes. I really love Rephr brushes, and I do think that they're kind of unmatched. I will say a lot of people really like the Victoria Beckham ones that have just recently launched, although they're pretty expensive. I really like the Danessa Myricks, my Kitco ones, if you haven't tried those before. See, I'm already looking at this and going, where's the shine? But it's cool. I mean, that primer adds a little bit. It is a slightly glowy primer, but it's nothing, you know, normally I am glowing and I have to tone it down. That's not the case here. But like I said, the goal is to show off the new face palette, Golden Oasis. Okay, I think that's good. Didn't take very much. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and set my under eyes. I don't think I have a YSL setting powder. No, I don't think so. I've never really heard that it's spectacular. I've heard some people really like it. It doesn't really matter. I use the La Prairie setting powder, and here's the thing. It's so damn expensive, I need to use it every time. I need to use it to grout stuff with, but I've never found something that's better. It's just so finely milled and really beautiful. I do know it's expensive though, and if you're looking for like a pressed powder, I think the Givenchy pressed powder is really great. It's a nice sort of substitute for the old Givenchy loose powder, because the new one is not as good as the old one, but the pressed powder it's very nice. This is a really nice blurring powder, and again, much like the Louis Vuitton, it should be. Okay, so let's start with a bronzer, and so I'm gonna get my, let's see, what do we want to do for a bronzer? I'm going to grab my Rephr 05, And I have the All Hours Hyper Bronze. They've really leaned into this padded look with their products the last few years. This is the Hyper Bronze, and I have mine in shade 2. This is a nice bronzer. It's not my favorite, but it's very good. I still think I like Gucci, Victoria Beckham. This is a matte, so it is somewhat similar to like the Victoria Beckham. The Gucci one has a little bit of shine in it, and I do like that. But that's okay. I like the matte too. I know you're very concerned about it. So the US Open just finished, and I was pleased. I'm a huge tennis fan, if you don't know that. So Carlos Alcaraz and Ariana Sabalenka both won. I love both of them. I liked the people they were playing against, so I didn't have any like rooting interest in one over the other this year. I like Yannick a lot, and the female, Anisimova, who was playing against Sabalenka, you know, she got bageled at Wimbledon in the final, so this was a big deal for her. Let's go ahead and put a lip on, and then we're going to focus really on the palette, the new face palette. So I don't have a liner from YSL. I don't believe I do. I do have a liner from Westman Atelier that I use as kind of my base for everything else. So this is the one in Biscuit, also the shade name of my favorite contour, but I'm not contouring today because I want you to see these blushes and highlighters for what they are. Although, even the best of people who do this, you know, Charlotte Holdcroft, Alicia Archer, that Hannah, you know, highlighters are the hardest thing to show on these. Okay, and then for the lip, I don't think I'm going to get a YSL lip product this year because I have so many YSL lip products. But what I thought would look good and dramatic was one of the YSL glosses. This is in 06. It's the chocolatey color with sparkles. And so I'm just going to put that on. I think that's going to look really nice. They have so many wonderful lip products, candy glazes and stains and things like that. But these are also quite nice. They have this like tropical scent, which is interesting. I didn't see if they're coming out with a limited edition color for this for the holidays. I like that a lot. It's just really cool. It's really cool, man. Okay. Let's get to the star of the show. I'm going to zoom you back out a little bit so you can see my whole face, and you'll see me doing laundry back there because it's laundry day. The YSL Golden Oasis palette. I think this is going to retail for about $80. I'm not sure. I got mine. Actually, it came in while I was on vacation, so I'm a little late reviewing this, but it hasn't hit the United States yet. These do burn, as I'm now remembering. So just so you know, there's a light tingle, perhaps a little bit heavier than light tingle. That's what she said. I got this from my contact who does some personal shopping in Europe, but it will be coming to the United States any day now. It has, who is blowing my phone up? Motherfucker. Okay, it's got 3 blushes and 3 highlighters, and all of these blushes currently exist in the collection. But I will show you on my hand the 3 blushes. And I believe it's, I could look this up. It's the peachy one, it's the berry, and nude lavalier, which are probably their 3 most popular. So this really would be a good gift. This is the peachy one. Then we have a nude lavalier, which is their signature color. They have it in lots of different things, from lips to everything else. And then berry bang, as I believe this one here, which is the more berry color. These are 3 universally beautiful colors that I could see why they included these, because they're going to work for a ton of people. Now the highlighters, I believe the top one is pre-existing, and this one may be. I don't know because it's too dark for me, but I believe this pink one might be new. They also have a purple one, but they didn't include that in here. I like their highlighters. They came out the same time as the Prada one, and I really do feel like the Prada one kind of told their glory, because it is such a cool highlighter. This pink in here is gorgeous though. So this is the lightest one, which I do believe is pre-existing. This is the pink, which is really cool. It almost kind of looks like the topper. Who is blowing up my phone? Okay. Okay, it looks almost identical to the topper that's in this quad. I wonder if it is the same. I don't know. And then there's this bronzy color, which would be beautiful on a darker skin tone. For somebody like me, you'd have to use it pretty much on the eyes. It's not in a way that you could use it as a bronzer. Okay. So this is the lightest. Again, so hard to see on camera. Then this is the more pink shaded one. That really does look identical to that topper. And then this is the bronze one. You see, that's too warm and shiny to use as a bronzer. I suppose in the summer you could very lightly put it on as kind of a blush topper if you wanted that sun-kissed look. I would say, again, if you're traveling, if it's a gift, if you don't have a lot of YSL, then this is great. If you have a lot of YSL, then you probably already have these. And knowing that that pink, I mean, it is you're not going to be able to see this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Okay, here's the pink from Golden Oasis. And here is the pink topper from the eyeshadow palette. They feel almost identical. YSL, y'all better not. It's a drag investigation. If y'all know that reference, then well, good on you. Those are identical. So if you get that, you kind of already have that highlighter. If you're really interested in that highlighter, those are identical. That's really interesting. Yeah, if you know Miss Lush's Massacre, then you know that reference. If you've never seen the drag investigation, stop what you're doing. Save this, because you know, obviously, I want your viewership. Go to YouTube, look up Lush's Massacre, Dragvestigates Bergdorf Goodman, and it is the funniest thing. I have watched it so many times as somebody who loves Bergdorf Goodman, has branded Bergdorf Goodman stuff all over my apartment. It's just so funny to see her in Bergdorf Goodman and really giving it to them. Okay, so let's go in. How do we want to do this? I want you to be able to see how these blushes work. Now, I'm going to use a smaller brush than I normally would because the pan size is a little bit smaller. But, you know, it's what you have to do. I'm going to go in with the berry very lightly. Tap it off. Up here a little higher. If you use a light hand, This is a really pretty color. I could use this everywhere with a light hand, and it would kind of give that winter, snow kind of look. You can see how that looks there. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. They are powdery. YSL blushes are beautiful. I love them. They're not my all-time favorite. I think they have the best color selection, but I'm prone to like Gucci and Valentino a little bit more. They're a little creamier. These you have to be really careful with because if you don't use the lightest hand, you can really go crazy quickly. Okay. If you ever do, grab like an Hourglass finishing powder and that'll tone it down. Or you can always take your foundation brush and kind of clean up the edges. So let me clean up this brush and let's do one cheek with each color. It's gonna look nutty, but once it's done, I'll go back and put some on the opposite color on each other so that they look good in the photos. Okay, so let's do the peachy color on this cheek over here. Very pigmented. And this one has a little bit of a sheen to it. I believe the other two, well, no, Nude Lavalier is also got a little bit of sheen. The Berry Bang, I believe, is matte. And I'm just going to blend that up into that Berry Bang. And you can see it's a pretty color, but it does have a little bit of shine to it, which is, I had a matte foundation, so it looks nice. On the other side, let me clean my brush. And this is a Refer 18. I'm going to go in with the Nude Lavalier, which is a signature color for them. They have it in eyeshadow, they have it in lipstick, they have it in blush, they have it in liquid blush. And YSL's liquid blushes are pretty good. They're not my favorite. I think my favorite liquid blushes are probably Armani. I just think they're a little bit more user-friendly. Same with the powder. They're both beautiful. It's just you have to use such a lighter hand. So you can see this one's got more of a pink, kind of nudie mauve, where this one's got a little bit more of a peach. But they're both beautiful. Let's go ahead and even them out now that you've seen what they look like. I'm going to put a little bit of the peach one over here and a little bit of the nude one over here. And you can see I'm already looking like blushed up, but it's a good way for you to at least see the colors. Okay, let's grab another brush. Let's grab a Refer 4. And let's look at the highlighters. Now, obviously, I can't use this one. It would look so orange on me, but it would be a beautiful eyeshadow. But as you can see here, the color would be just way too orange. Over here, we'll do the white one, the pre-existing shade. And then over here, we'll do the pink one. So I don't know how these are going to show up, but I'll do my best, you guys. Highlighters are so tough to show up. These are pigmented. If you're somebody who likes a really subtle highlighter, get the Prada, go on resale and get the Chanel La Camellia from 2021, not the big one, but the one that's a little bit smaller. These are not subtle, but they're beautiful. So you can see that amped it up. That is kind of a champagne color with a little bit of gold in it. Really beautiful. On the other side, let's clean off the brush. We'll do the pink one that I'm pretty convinced is in that eyeshadow quad. YSL, don't be like that. Okay. And this one has kind of a little hot pink kind of pearls in it. Okay, maybe that person was right about this light, because you really can't see my entire face now. Thank you for that suggestion, whoever you are. Doing God's work. Okay, so that is our look for today. I would set it, but I'm not going anywhere, so I'm going to be washing this off shortly. So I would use like the Pat McGrath, the glass setting spray, or Peach and Lily, the glass setting spray. You know, one of the ones that is more shiny, because I used a matte foundation. But as you can see, between the little bit of highlight that's in the blushes, in those two blushes, and then the highlighter, I have a nice amount of shine going on. It's really just, I notice mattes more on like my forehead and that kind of area, you know, but this is a very long-lasting foundation. So I think this is a cool look, and giving us a little holiday preview, courtesy of the Couture Mini Clutch in Golden Lust and the Couture Face Palette in Golden Oasis. So if you like this kind of content, please like, please subscribe, go to my Instagram. I post different kinds of stuff there, more long form on YouTube. But yeah, shop my links. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps out my struggling little channel here. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. And if you're a YSL fan, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. If you're a big YSL fan, you probably already have the colors that are in this collection. But if you don't, or you're looking for a gift for somebody, then this is a really great holiday item. So I will talk to you all soon, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.